Hey guys, my name is Rishi and today I'm going to be introducing you to the Rupakatalam, just the general basics of the Talam now that we're done with our Adi Talam series. Without further ado, let's get going. So, you know how I've been telling you that 4 matre is every time you tap your hand like this is always going to be 4 matre. Well, that applies to Rupakatalam as well. So, however, the only difference here is that Rupakatalam it is either 3 beats of the hand or 6 beats of the hand. You might be wondering, why is there 2? Well, it's very simple. I'll show you. If I show you, you'll understand better. Let me show you the 3. 1, 2, 3. Both of them are different versions of the same talam. So if you look at the 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the matre values here for the 3 beats, remember 3 times 4 because there's 4 matre attached to 1 beat. It is 12 matre. If you do 6 beats, it would be 24 in that regard. But that is in its normal speed. And this is why we use multiples of 12 when looking at Rupakatalam, because you can't divide it evenly enough, because if you keep dividing, you'll get an odd matre. And odd matre doesn't split evenly, because then you would get a 2 and a 1. And you can't have a 1 matre, because that rule always applies. It doesn't matter what type of talam, but that rule always applies. Which is why we always need multiples of 12. But this brings us to our differences. I'm going to look at our differences. There are 3 main differences here for Adi Talam and Rupakatalam. Firstly, what I just mentioned, the multiples. You can only use multiples of 4 when it comes to Adi Talam. And for Rupakatalam, you can only use multiples of 12, like I just mentioned. And Adi Talam has beats of 8, meaning the full cycle, like the full cycle of when you tap the talam is 8 beats. Just a refresher, this is what it looks like: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But Rupakatalam has 2 different talams, like I said earlier, because they're both essentially the same talam, but one is condensed, one is elongated. Well, I'll explain that in depth in another video, but for now, just know that. But the biggest one here is the binary conversion. While they both are the same, because binary is always going to be in base 2, that stays the same. However, the way the numbers are printed and seen, like given out, is different and way different in both talams. And Adi Talam, because they're multiples of 4, and every time you increase, it would add a 0, like I've shown you in previous videos. For 4, let's say for example you had 4, it would be 10. If you had 2, it would be 100. 16 would be 1,000, and that's 32, 64, and you get the idea. But for Rupakatalam, you don't have that, because there are multiples of 12. You have 12, 24, 36, 48, and then they get really big, it's really big, really fast. And because of that, because they're not even multiples of 4, you would have random output values as your binary, which I'll show you with the conversions and bases in another video. But for now, know that they are random, because they're not the base multiple. They're not connected to the base multiple of 4 like Adi Talam, and they're not. There would be. It's more. What's the word for it? They're more. The talam goes faster, and so that's how you should look at this. So I hope this gave you a good overview, basic overview of Rupakatalam. And thanks for listening to my breakdown, guys. Please feel free to like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow my Instagram, and I really appreciate all your support. Thanks, guys.